what's going on here. We're gonna let everybody know what's going on, but we want a little bit more people. How about this? When we get to 150 likes, we'll let everybody know what's going on. So get us that likes.
You're so wrong. This is the first
so
live that we're doing.
Get us 150 and we'll be like, yeah, we'll tell everybody. There we go. Oh, look, see, we're at 145. Look at that. 160. Okay, this is what we're doing. Go, Lee. Take it away. What are we up to?
So, welcome to our new podcast. A lot of people that have been following us on Instagram have been very well prepared for this. We are going to make a lot of the community pissed off. You know why? Because we're going to give out free information that you guys don't have to pay for. Okay.
I wouldn't go that far now. We
well, I mean, come on.
Oye,
come on.
You're bringing the candela now. You're really
Let's
bringing the candela.
just be serious here. Y'all don't need to be paying $150 to set up an altar, okay? Shit is ridiculous out there.
Yeah.
So, we're going to be having our Obinisa Talk podcast that is starting for spring equinox. And we are going to be bringing you, not the secrets, because y'all can't know all the secrets and mysteries, but we're going to give you the foundations of African spirituality, indigenous spirituality, and all the little controversies and everything that goes in between, back and forth, so forth and so forth. So, first questions first. Obinisa Talk. Let's go ahead and explain why it's even called Obinisa Talk.
I know that's something that's been on my mind for a while. So if everyone needs to know, before we get to talking about the podcast, I think there was one thing we need to bring up, Lee. How we met, first and foremost. So if you haven't seen my bio video on TikTok, if you haven't, check it out. But here's the rundown. So before I got on TikTok, which I got on TikTok more because of her you're insistently, like, you encouraged me to get on TikTok. I was already on Instagram, and that's how we met. We met on Instagram in the ATR community on Instagram, the Caribbean spirituality community. You were living in Tampa at the time. I was in West Palm, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, because I had just finished my Yaguaraje, and so that was literally going on 5 years ago that we've been online together.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't that insane?
Yep.
4 to 5 years.
Absolutely.
I'm turning 6 in Ocho.
It is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm turning 6 this June.
Wow.
Yeah, you met me after my Yaguaraje, when I just finished my Yaguaraje. And then I moved to Orlando.
Yes.
And you were already in Tampa, and we had talked about.
I remember that. Yes.
Yes, because you were doing the shop, and then from the shop, I was gonna go and do Reiki circles there, because I'm also a Reiki master teacher, so I could hold circles, I could do attunements. But you ended up in PR, and I'm still here in Orlando, but we never stopped keeping in touch, regardless. So one day, sometime towards the end of last year, around December, I do a post, right? One of them controversial posts on Instagram.
Yeah.
So my controversial post was that maybe the issue is not that your ancestors messed up. Maybe it's an entity or something attached to your ancestors. The minute I posted that, you were like, yo, I've been waiting for you to drop that post, because I told her in advance I was dropping that post. And then she's like, let's go on a live on IG and talk about it. And we did. We did a live. So all of you guys want to follow us on IG, please visit our profiles. At least my IG. It's still the same. Go to @apetb_yamile. You'll find me on Instagram. And you can find that live. So we're talking, right? And people are like, you guys need to do this more. Y'all should do a podcast. And I've always wanted to do a podcast. And that's where Obinisa Talk comes in. I've always wanted to do a podcast with women in ATR, specifically those of us that are part of the diaspora.
Yes.
And Obini means female, means woman, or Obinisa, or that woman. So that's
Mm-hmm.
when it's like, listen, we're two women that are part of diaspora. My background is, yes, Lukumi, Espiritismo Cruzado. Your background, Espiritismo, Taino spirituality,
Lukumi.
Lukumi
Yes.
as well. You know,
And Taino spirituality.
right? Like I just mentioned that. Yeah, and then on top of that, we also have a network of people that are in Balo, Ifa, that are in Candomblé. We've over the years on Instagram have built such a beautiful network, such a beautiful
Yes.
community. And so, and we all behind the scenes have these type of intellectual conversations. Mind you, we keep it, we're very mindful of where everyone's at as far as initiation goes to ensure that no one's divulging secrets that they're not supposed to. However,
Exactly.
that doesn't mean that certain conversations can't be navigated about ethnohistory or spirituality or doctrine and sense or
Or a
questions
little bit
like
of debate. Let's be real. A little bit of debate is
we
good as
debate, yeah,
well.
but it's a healthy debate.
Yes.
And it's debate that's rooted in doctrine and our spirit and our spiritual traditions, and most of all, our experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing I always like to mention about you, Lisa, Lee, myself, and a lot of people we know on Instagram is the fact that
Mm-hmm.
each one of us comes with our own experience, and we're open to listening to those experiences because we're like, yo, you went through that at a Misa? What? That shit was wild. Or how about this that came in my family? This. So it made us realize that, yeah, there's not a what's it, how's the saying, there's not like a one shoe fits all, one size fits all type of deal.
It isn't, especially when you talk about religions like Espiritismo, that is an actively open religion, but it is very catered to one's personal self, which means that your stuff is very, very different from my stuff, and my stuff is very, very different from the next person's stuff. So that's a lot of what we want to get into. We need to get into a lot of the misconceptions that people talk about. We want to get into the real deal, the raw shit that people don't want to discuss because they want to spiritually bypass.
There's that. There's a lot of things we're gonna hopefully get into throughout
Mm-hmm.
the podcast. So the first plan of the podcast, or at least the first season we're doing, it's gonna be rooted in at least a minimum 4 to 5 episodes. That's gonna come out
Yes.
during the equinoxes. So it gives us time to plan it out. And so really the first couple of episodes that we're doing for spring equinoxes, it's just gonna be centered on introducing ourselves, our background. We're going to talk about, at least to give, what is Taino spirituality, what's Espiritismo, and what's Orisha. And that's where we're starting there. And then from there, that's where we're going to build from. Because
Yes.
it's at the end of the day, I think we're inviting everyone to not only just to be educated, but to really then eventually through time bring in people to talk about their experiences within these practices. Because here's the thing, and I love that you brought up the whole point about bypassing and stuff like that, because no one's saying that no one is not allowed. How can I put it this way? I'll give you an example. We actually talked about it earlier today. We're gonna talk, and everyone comment on the chat box if you can, because I'm gonna ask this specific question. When you are a stranger in someone's home,
I know where you're going
of
with
course
this.
you know, because we're gonna talk about this right now, because now we're gonna invite the people, because I think everybody's gonna understand this, okay? And so I want to see all them lights go dollar bills on strippers, guys. Let's go, hit that like, because I'm about to ask everyone. There's a house that you heard man, has good candy. They have good food there. They got exactly what you need. But you don't know the owner of that house, right? You don't know the owner. Are you just gonna bust in there saying, I want your candy, I want that recipe? Let's see it in the chat box. Would you bust up in there, guys? Just say, I want your candy, I want that recipe, I want to know how to make that cornbread.
Are you just gonna invite yourself in?
Exactly. Absolutely not. Or are you gonna knock on the door? Okay, now so let's say you opted to not just oh my gosh, I freaking love my friend Dimitri. He's a hoot. Muscle mechanic, he's a hoot. Yes, of course you will. You want that cornbread. You want them muffins, okay? All right. But you know what? Let's put it this way. Some people do barge right in and say, I want the recipe. And let's say you do that. The recipe owner is gonna look at you like, who the are you? This is my house. Who are you to get my great grandma's recipe of cornbread all because you ate it and you thought it was good because you got it from your friend? Or you heard from a friend about how great this cornbread was, okay? So let's say you don't do that, which is hella rude. Let's say you knock on the door. Person says, who's there? They don't even open the door. They're looking through the peephole. Who's there? What if you say, oh, I'm so-and-so. I came here for some cornbread. I don't know you. Who sent you? My friend said that yeah, but so-and-so, they just came over because they were invited by somebody else. So they didn't even give you the full information about how they got my cornbread.
Yeah.
But let's say, instead of just approaching the house, let's say you find maybe that they have an email address and you send them a polite message. Hey, my name is so-and-so. The other day I tried some amazing cornbread from a friend of mine, so-and-so. And I would love to buy some cornbread from you, or I'm fascinated to learn about how did you come about that cornbread recipe, because I can never get my cornbread like that. You know what the person's probably going to be like? Oh yeah, the cornbread recipe is from my great-grandmother or my grandmother, and I'll gladly share it. How about this? Come right on over. Or come meet me here and we'll talk about it. Apply that now to coming into ATR or Caribbean spirituality or bona fide traditions that have been around for millennia. A lot of people are out here thinking that they are entitled to a cornbread recipe that belongs to someone, and they're not entitled to that. You're not.
Thank you for saying it nicely, because I would have not been that nice.
Remember, you're the fire, I'm the honey.
Mind you, guys, I'm the child of Shango. Remember this. I'm the child of Shango. She's the child of Oshun. Remember that. I would not have said it that nicely.
But look at it like this. I'm gonna be honest with you, Mama, and I can't help it. We might as well. We want to pull some cards. We pull some cards. I also do this because it's like a call it like a nerve thing, and I need to like always touch something. But that's why I'm chewing gum. Let's look at it like this. I, from a young age, have been in these traditions, and I've had Hand of Ifa, I've had Kofa. I've had Kofa since the age of 9. And one of the things that was drilled into me as a young age was the importance of having good character, especially with what walks with me. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. Trust me, I have my moments. I have my moments. Like I had a moment like earlier today, but when it comes to being online, we gotta be a bit more mindful how we move and how we navigate. And also,
I said that earlier.
I teach for a living too.
Yeah.
And trust me, I have students that I'm like, but yeah, back to the cornbread, right? A lot of people are out here wanting cornbread recipes from people that they don't know, and they're barging and thinking they're entitled to great grandma's cornbread recipes. No, you're not entitled to great grandma's cornbread recipe. I'm sorry, not sorry. You're not.
I'm not sorry.
We sing it en espíritu. Si tú no me conoces, ¿para qué tú me llamas? That's literally a song we sing in misas. Si tú no me conoces, ¿para qué tú me llamas?
Yeah.
It applies.
Not many know about that, but we'll get into that.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into That'll be one of those conversations. But yes, absolutely.
Yes. So, and that's part of it. That's part of why we're doing this podcast. One, because we love spirituality and we love Caribbean spirituality and the diaspora. We even love Eastern
and
traditions. We love everything. Well, not
all
everything.
of it, but not everything.
Not everything.
But
but
most importantly, people are looking to connect. People are looking for a source. There's a lot of people that are frauds out there. Let's just be real. There's a lot of frauds out there. And, you know, people who are actively looking to reconnect need to have, they need outlets for it. They need, without having to pay for it, without having to, you know, having, man, how do I even explain it? They need a safe space. A safe space that people are not actively trying to take advantage of them for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? So we're hoping to provide a lot of this information and answer a lot of questions from different sectors of spirituality where people don't have to worry about any of that. We're not selling you anything. We're just giving it to you. You take what you want from it and you build on that. Our whole plan is to give you the foundations of where to start and how to begin. And then what you do with it and your character is what takes you into the next level, however you want to handle that.
And character,
we're not responsible after that.
Because character is important when approaching anyone from any tradition or just anyone from any background.
Yeah.
I like to say this.
Yeah.
And I actually posted about it today on IG. I guess my life motto is doable, live the results, and in the meantime, maintain Iwapele. Doable means doing the prescribed spiritual work or making the necessary sacrifices. Okay, why? Because the word sacrifice means to make sacred. That could be, what are we making sacred with what we, that's, so like, for example, time is sacred, money is sacred.
Yes, absolutely.
And we sacrifice or we make our time sacred to put in, to learn something, because we know in the long run we're gonna have a positive gain out of it. So that's the same thing applies as to why we do some of the spiritual work that we do, the ritual work that we have done for ourselves and what we do for our clients as well, because you and I are spiritual workers. We have clients, we do readings, we do limpiezas. We try to help build a foundation or help them build a foundation so they can grow and discover their spirituality, because their spiritual journey is also going to be very unique. So yes, doable. Now live the results of making those sacrifices, of doing the work internally, externally. What you put in, you're going to live the results of it. Just the same, what you don't put in, you're going to live the results of it. That's the whole idea of karma, is because people are like, oh, karma's going to get you. I'm like, karma is not always like that. Karma could, what the tarot teaches us with the Wheel of Fortune and karma is the idea that a result that is either good or bad is based upon one's free will and one's choice.
Yes.
And so we have doable, live the results, and now maintain Iwapele. Iwapele means to have great, great character, to have good character. Why? Because in times when we're facing obstacles, we can really get down, or facing negative people. That's a buzz killer. Waiting for the results to happen, we could feel discouraged. So when we have by having good character, that means also being mindful and trying to have a good head on our shoulders.
Well, you know how I always say, indigenous and African spirituality is not about control and power.
Yeah.
It is definitely about aligning yourself and your character in order to get to your destiny, whatever that may be. And that goes all around within ATRs and our indigenous practices as well.
Yes.
And people seem to get that confused. They seem to think that it is all about power over people. And that's not what any of it is rooted in at all. That's a huge, that's the first misconception that we need to discuss.
Let's talk about it right now. Destiny. So destiny is basically like what we're all called or meant to do. Destiny is the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's a bigger picture and bigger root of things. So I'm glad you touched upon destiny, because that reminds me of something that my father not only taught me and my siblings, but he teaches this to his god kids. And he always says this. He asks this question: when you die and you have to go report back to heaven, and you're before God, with all the many names of God, you're before the Grand Creator, and the Grand Creator asks you, when you incarnated, were you able to achieve all that you set out to achieve? What matters is, can you answer that question?
Most people don't think about that.
They don't. And this is where one of the things that we have the invitation of being part of these traditions, be it ATR, Indigenous, Eastern, diasporic, when you start getting deep in it, really deep, we're asked to ask ourselves that question. Why
when you decolonize, when you decolonize the practices. So that's a huge factor in all of it. Once you decolonize the practices is when you really sit down with yourself and you start asking yourself those questions. And most people don't realize that. Most people talk a lot about decolonizing themselves and decolonizing the practices, but they're still very much living the colonial way. And not saying, because I am not anti-money the way people say, and anti-capitalistic to an extent, because we live in this world right now and everything is an exchange, everything. But at least knowing that is a piece of decolonization. And that's when you start asking yourself those kinds of important questions. But you see, those are the kind of brain things. That's where you want everyone's mind, especially our diaspora, to start grasping. Because until you start grasping those ways of thinking and how you use your integrity and how you decolonize yourself, that's the only way you're able to bring that frame of mind. And I speak from a Puerto Rican diaspora point, especially with everyone knowing what it is that's going on in our island at this point. Once you get into that way of thinking is where you can kind of grasp it and then be able to bring it into the things that you want to fulfill on the island, so to speak. And I know a lot of the Puerto Rican diaspora, they know what I mean when I say that, exactly.
So, I also think it's applying as well what's going on here in the United States, because it's interesting what's going on in PR politically is very it's very unique to PR. And then here in the States, especially because I'm in Florida, I definitely feel like we're in some sort of battle zone. especially
well, you
with
guys,
white supremacy and racism. But before we
yeah.
get into that, because we could go off on that, and I think that's an episode
Oh,
in itself, I want to
that's
dial
a
it
whole
back to
episode.
something you said about integrity, which is
Yes.
another conversation that we need to have right now. So if you guys want us to really encourage us to have those
Mm-hmm.
conversations, what did I say about them likes? Drop them likes like you dropping dollar bills on a stripper, okay, please.
And
Okay, this is why I want to have
and
a
if you
conversation
guys
about
have
integrity.
questions, and if you have questions, put the questions in because we're open for conversation here. Like, even if we added onto another episode of a podcast, we definitely want to know what you want to know because that's important.
Right. And and before we're gonna wrap up tonight, we're gonna leave room to just review through the chat box and look at comments and everything. But the reason why I want to
Mm-hmm.
bring up integrity is because it goes back to what we were talking about, how there's a lot of people that are toxic and practicing
Mm-hmm.
spirituality and actually doing work on people, which is dangerous, and getting into fights and trying to steal great grandma's cornbread recipe. It
Yes.
all goes back to what a lack of integrity. So this is part of the foundational building. Is one of the things to ask oneself is, am I ethical? Do I do what are my core? So really, that goes back to what are my core
And
values?
wait. Everyone, there is such a thing as being an ethical witch. FYI. Many people don't talk about that, but that is an actual thing. Being an ethical witch. I know it sounds kind of funky when you say it because,
I don't think it's. I don't think it
ethical and
sounds
being a witch,
funky.
but
It doesn't.
it's a
It doesn't
thing.
sound fun. It does not sound funky because if someone has core values that they stand by, then
Mm-hmm.
then there's then they're ethical, because to be ethical means you have core values, at least positive core
Yes,
values. You value honesty, you
yes.
value fairness. Okay, a person that has core values, are you about community? Okay,
Miss Nobody, don't
doesn't mean
start.
yeah, we're not starting it with individual people here. No, I'm being serious because I already had this
No,
conversation with
we'll
Lee.
talk.
I'm being honest.
I knew
If people are gonna,
I
and
knew
this is
that was
where
coming.
and this is where I'm gonna get hot and spicy, and I'm not gonna be sweet, because we already go through it on a daily basis with people, and I already told Lee, if people want, and I'm trying to go,
I
if
know
people
she
want,
said someone
let me,
else meant.
oye,
She said
mama,
someone
no,
else.
let me explicar. Déjame hablar esto. Déjame hablar esto. No name droppings when we're on lives, because we're not about to we're not about to be in a space of fighting. Keep that outside of our lives, please. We're speaking general. We're speaking in general. We're not talking about anybody here.
For educational purposes, guys, we're speaking in general.
Because this
We're not
happens all the damn
addressing.
time.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
It's not just one person doing this. There's many people.
oh no, there's many people.
There's many
actually.
people.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not about to have that, because we all just want to be in a space where we could just be like, yo, can we just not bring that energy here? We could talk about our frustrations without having to drop names.
Yes. We already know, guys. We know. Remember how these lives work. We already know.
And the way you face people like this is with good character. I'm telling you. And what I mean by good character, this is what I mean by good character. It takes a lot.
This plays right into it.
Sometimes you gotta breathe, and sometimes, and this is what I tell my students, because I teach communication principles. I teach the building blocks of good communication skills.
Yes.
Understanding your audience. There's 4 core building blocks to good communication: people, message, context, and listening. And all of us are working on it. People, knowing your audience, who you're talking to. Message, the words that are being said. Context, are you understanding the environment the relationship you have with the person that you're speaking to? Are you understanding the timing of the conversation? How does that extend to social media? Social media
Yeah.
as a platform is actually the medium. It's how the message is being delivered. Okay, so that factors in as well as when you're cultivating message, and then listening. Are you actually listening to what's being said? Okay, and listening also applies to understanding the types of communication, which yes includes nonverbal, which is body language. Also, artifacts is the person using items. Paralinguistics. This talks about tone and stuff like that, but nonverbal could be totally misread oftentimes. Like for example, I had a young lady the other day just off of my video about Catholicism thought I was being angry, and I'm like, I think you're confusing passion for angry. I'm not angry at Catholicism, especially since I just said I'm a practicing Catholic. So how can I be angry if so I can't openly criticize the church? Say, hey, I could disagree with certain things of the church or certain things that they're doing here in America that's not being done in the rest of the world. And to me, it makes complete and it doesn't make sense. I'm not angry because I question. I'm just passionate. So I think a lot of times we get passionate, and passion can be confused with anger. And then there's also times that people are gaslighters and passive aggressive, and they're manipulative.
Oh, don't get me started on my conversation of gaslighting.
You know what? Might as well go for it.
That's my conversation right there. Okay,
I just
where
set it up
people. Yes, you did. Thank you. She just opened that door.
I did.
Let's get into the gaslighting of it all. Okay. Gaslighting is when someone tries to defer your way of thinking by kind of confusing you into thinking that the problem is you when the problem isn't really you, and it's the actual person that's causing the problem. Yes. And that is a huge issue amongst spirituality, especially when we get into, and let's go ahead and talk about it, when we get into Catholicism and when we get into Christianity.
We can talk about that.
I said it earlier. I don't think you saw my video, Nicole.
No, because
I
I was
think
at
you saw my video.
Post Reiki session
I don't think
on somebody.
you saw my video. Okay. But what tends to happen, okay, especially with the diaspora folk, us minorities, is that when we tend to defend our practices or we tend to defend ourselves in general, we get gaslit by prayer because, you know, they're always going to pray for us. I'm going to pray for you. You need God. I'm going to pray for you. Or they will use the reverse trauma. You have trauma. There's nothing wrong with me. You have trauma. You work that out because everything is a fucking reflection.
I hear that more from New
bullshit,
Agers.
by the
that
way.
Whole reflection thing, I hear more from New Agers than I do Christians.
Oh, listen. No, I'm in Puerto Rico. I hear it all the time.
Like I've been around some, like just even.
I hear it all the time. I'm not going to mention no colors or anything like that, but I hear it all the time. You're just full of trauma. No, I'm not. I'm just, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm defending what I'm talking about.
You just don't want anyone barging in to get grandma's cornbread recipe. That's it.
There you go. You see, everything's a damn circle. You see how everything is connected and everything goes into a certain way of thinking and a certain path.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I wish everyone in this world had the same kind of common sense, but the fact of the matter is that common sense and integrity are not that common, actually.
And here's my thing, and this is where we have a healthy debate. We say that, we feel that, but then we're reminded that they do exist because we meet people that are about it. It's just, the way I see it is this: the ones that are seen the most are the loud ones that aren't integral. Versus,
I always say that the loudest ones are the ones that know the least. It's plain and simple, okay? Because the quiet ones ain't gonna tell you all them secrets. I'm gonna tell you right now, we're not gonna reveal everything. Why? Because we need to keep some stuff to ourselves.
It's not, and it's
And
also, let's add on to the fact that oftentimes we want to also find a balance between educating and helping others, but at the same time
mhm.
respecting our traditions that, hey, certain things can't be told to you until you go through a certain point. And it's like that for a reason. Because there's also, like, at least for example, in Ifa, we have our commandments, we have our tenets. They're in a specific Odu. I don't want to talk about Odu. That's something I want to, but we do have our certain rules. And some of the rules is one of the rules. Don't talk about things you don't know about. Don't perform rituals that you have no clue how to perform. That in itself, just those two things, people break all the time. Especially doing things you are not authorized to do. That is one of the biggest ones. How many people are doing stuff they're not authorized to do, but they assume they can do because of a sort of complex or an authority complex or an entitlement complex. I am entitled due to XYZ. XYZ. I'm like, no. We all have to go through the ropes and the motions and the learning. We're not
Well,
born
and there's
knowing how
just
to do
some
heart
people.
surgery.
There's some people that are not even privy to certain types of things anyway. Okay, and that's where we get to talk about closed versus restricted practices.
Which
Okay,
that in
which
itself is
goes a
another
lot
live conversation. I'm
within
gonna be honest. We
our
need to have a separate
communities.
live about that. How about
That's a
that, Lee? We can talk
whole
about closed versus
hour of
restricted.
conversing in regards to closed versus restricted practices.
Well, we've talked about
Because
it
that's
behind
a
the
whole
scenes.
conversation that we need to have. Yes.
We'll
So
have.
just know, guys, that these are actual things that we discussed
Yes.
behind the scenes. But if that's something that y'all want to talk about, then we'll get on here and do that one. Okay, because there is such a thing as closed versus restricted. And yes, I'm 100% up on board that there's certain things that are completely closed, not restricted, closed.
I need you to get some honey on that tongue, okay? Because you just got super fuego. Because remember when we had that conversation, Mama, I'm just like I brought up the word restricted. Because
I know, but I agree. I agree with you.
And I've just been so busy.
But
I haven't been able to make my TikTok on it.
People do not.
All right. I think this is around the time
that's
that
a conversation
we're gonna be wrapping up soon. Oh my gosh, look at this. This didn't it's been so hot. My charger came off of my iMac. Hold on,
Listen, guys, we can be on here a whole entire day talking about different kinds of shit. Listen, like, this is why I don't go live ever.
I might as well just
I
pull
will
a card
be tearing up these lives.
Oracle cards. Hold on. Oi, Lee, tell me when to stop.
Pull a card.
All right, but tell me when to stop, Hope. Oh,
that's it. You did right there. That last one.
No, it flew out. You said, "Oh, all right." Here's the reveal. I don't even know what it is. Hold on. Oh, look at this! Yeah, you need to cool your ass down. It's getting too hot. Drink some water, Ho. Drink some water. Guys, just FYI. It's not, and I repeat, it is not Ochun talking, okay? I have to say that because I hinted that's going to go out there and be like, oh, they're putting cards, and they say it's Ochun. No, it's imagery, guys, but it is saying drink more water, and I need to go get some water afterwards, but yeah. And what did you just had? You had a sip. Go sip. Go sip. All right, I'll pull, how about this? I'll pull a tarot. Yeah, vamos. So these people don't think
I wasn't planning on doing this, but
we'll do this before we go. It's funny. I hope you guys just make you laugh. Yeah, I actually like that Oracle deck. It's out of print. It's, believe it or not, it's from Doreen Virtue before she went glory, glory, hallelujah. I think that woman ran into something and was doing stuff she wasn't allowed to do, and it freaked her out. And then she went to run into Jesus. But she made beautiful Oracle decks, which, interesting fact though, she still makes money off of the books, but the thing is what she does with it, and she admitted on her website, she has a lot of back taxes. So I don't know if she's paid all that back, but all the proceeds were going to pay back all those back taxes that she had.
I want to know her backstory. I want to know when Netflix is going to actually pull that and just like write like a whole movie about.
Maybe we need to pitch it to Netflix. Her. New Ager gone, glory, hallelujah.
TikTok is full of them. TikTok is full of them.
I've seen it. I went down
the come to Jesus people.
Oh my gosh! When I saw the rabbit hole about New Age being demonic, and I went down that rabbit hole, and I was laughing, and I linked up with our mutual friend Wave Oracle, and I was like, "Hermano, the rabbit hole is real."
Yes. So Wave Oracle, guys, by the way, if y'all not following him, he's another one that's a part of our diaspora.
Yeah.
He actually was living in Puerto Rico in Isabela. His Ile is in Isabela, and he left and went to Brooklyn. But it goes to show y'all that a lot of people, despite wanting to make it here on the island, it's very, very difficult. And there's a lot of people that rematriate and then they actually go back. What is that?
We're breaking illusions. We're busting them illusions. Seven of Cups reverse. Yes, that card is amazing because when that card comes out, I like it coming out in reverse because it really is. We just talk about coming to Jesus, right? Having that moment of clarity. And that's just on the surface with the Seven of Cards. See, we could be doing lives just talking about one tarot. Let's have a tarot discussion on a live. These are all like good ideas that we could be doing in between our podcast recordings, Lee. So
it sounds like a good idea because I haven't gotten involved in some good spiritual talk in quite a while. So
yeah. All right, time for you to pull
actually is good.
I'm gonna look through. Yo, do you guys think we could get to 10,000 likes? And maybe some roses.
Girl, you like reaching. Ask
and you shall receive.
You see that? It's gonna be all right, people. It's gonna be all right.
Oh, that's the 10 of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, is that a
prediction? In your deck? Listen, in your deck, pull the everything is fine in your deck. The same card, because I have that deck.
What, you want me to pull the 10 of, you want me to find the 10 of Swords in my deck?
Yes, everything is fine.
Listen, when I saw that 10 of Swords, I'm already like, yo, we gonna have some shit talkers right now. Not y'all on the live.
We probably are.
Saying, this is already 7 of, you know what it is? 7 of Cups followed by the 10 of Swords.
I'm all right with it.
I'm all right with it too. Are y'all all right with it? If y'all all right with it, get us to 10K.
Pull it. Everything is fine.
I'm trying to find it, girl. I got the 9 right here. Oh, here we go.
No, everything is fine. Does it say it? No. Pull the second one.
Mama, it doesn't say everything is fine. This is.
Girl, let me go get my deck. Hold up.
You see, this is us all the damn time, everybody. This is us all
Hold
the
on,
time.
hold on, people. Hold on. I'm going to go get my deck.
This is live, but I promise the podcast will be a bit more organized. This is us just being ourselves live. She's like, I'm going to get my damn deck.
I'm going to get it for y'all because I know what I'm talking about.
I know. I no one's calling. No one's saying you're crazy. We know what you're talking about, Mama.
Hold up. No, because that's
what serotonin. We'll give you serotonin. We'll give you dopamine. We'll give you caffeine. We'll give
everything. I found it. Everything is fine, guys. Everything is fine.
What does it say? Everything is fine. Oh, I know where that is.
Ah!
That's in my Boba drawer. I don't have that in the deck. It's in the Boba drawer. This is because I didn't consider that a card. That's why I'm like, what do you mean everything is fine?
This is a damn card. I pull this and I love this card. Every time I see it, everything is fine. That's what I always think about.
Fine.
Everything is fine.
Well,
but she don't look fine, but she's fine. She's gonna be fine. It's gonna be cool.
She's gonna be fine, even though she got knives on her back.
Yes, it's gonna be all right.
Now let's figure out why it's gonna be all right. Why is it gonna be all right? Tell me when to stop. Okay, first person to write stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm waiting for the comment that says stop.
Oh? Who's gonna comment? Somebody comment. Stop.
That's my god brother. Okay. This is why. Okay. Yeah, everything's backward. It says follow your heart. This is why everything's fine. Because our intentions, we're literally following our heart with this. Yes, you're right.
We knew that. We knew that. We knew that because we divined first before we did this whole entire thing.
Trust me, we've checked in every step of the way. Like we're like,
yeah.
Look, we're like, look, this is what we got to do. Do it. Just trust.
Yeah.
So let's go through some of the comments. Yes. Hello to everyone. Nevat, Aura, Lynette, Steven, Abolish. Yes. Drop them roses. I don't think we had any questions. I'm trying to find it was just comments.
It doesn't matter. I think everybody's just vibing, which is good because listen, I personally have never gone on live because I hear the most negative shit come out of everybody's mouth about going live on TikTok. So I just never do it. Now,
you know what, I just realized something. So this is my second live, right? The second time I threw it on. We can have you can have moderators on live.
Really? I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that
like,
either.
I don't go live enough.
I was just going through all the settings, I saw that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to remember that. Because I don't mind having a moderator, so we could keep, because one thing we're not going to have is people get bullied and harassed up in here. If we're talking about something, if we're talking about something that's triggering, we're going to invite everyone to observe why it's triggering you. And that's not to gaslight. But literally, we just talked about earlier people that want to steal great-grandma's cornbread recipe and barge into the house. That conversation could be triggering for some people because then they're going to be like, wait, did I just do that? But here's the thing. We're all supposed to get triggered. There's times I've been triggered and Lee's been triggered. And we have to get triggered. Why? Because that's how we're going to keep in check. Okay. Everyone likes to say, kill the ego. You've heard that, right? I disagree with that statement. You want to know why I disagree with the whole
I do as well.
Kill your ego? Because ego was intentionally put by God within mankind to keep us authentic. If there's no ego for us to check, how are we going to check our authenticity? If there's not something there for us to be extra mindful of, so we could ensure that we're making the right choice. The ego is necessary. So to kill the ego is literally an invitation to walk around as a zombie that gets unchecked, that could just do and be and feel.
Well, I and you know my way of thinking between ego and what's the other word that I dislike? Humble. Oh, guys, homework. Go look up humble and where it originated from. Okay.
Can anyone do that right now? Really quickly?
I know where it originated from, but y'all need to know where that originated from because being humble was originated in rooted in religion as a colonial construct in order to control people. So this is why they tell people be humble what does humble mean? What does humble mean to you when someone tells you that, right? To like cower and, you know what I'm saying, be complacent and just chill out, in other words.
When used
But
in a negative way, or like for example, I can see how that works, because think of all like some of the conditionings that, and we're not bashing Christianity, we're just using Christianity as an example. But how often is it in traditions or in spirituality, the whole idea that to be unselfish, or to not to a selfish person will not receive the blessings of God. So
yeah,
some people can take it, if they haven't found or achieved balance, they could take it in a way that receiving anything means, oh, I'm not humble. It means I'm acting selfishly just from receiving, because there's this whole idea
yeah,
that you have to abstain or refrain in order to be spiritual, in order to have oneness. And that's kind
hmm
of like, but then when it's taken in the wrong way and is going too extreme, some people are not gonna be able to receive anything, not even a compliment. That even goes as far as to not even being able to recognize when someone is trying to give to you. And then the
yeah,
excuse that the person tells themselves mentally is, I'm a humble person. And it's like, where's the line then between humbleness and selfishness, or the fact that maybe to devoid from being perceived as selfish, you're hiding behind being humble. But in actuality,
exactly.
that's all rooted in not wanting to receive, or being told that you shouldn't receive because then you're selfish. And oftentimes, this is what I'm finding: people that suffer from that is because they've had people in their lives that accuse them of being selfish as a way of
Yes,
manipulating.
as a manipulative. Yes, and that's when it originated. That's how it originated. Okay, it originated as a means of control of people, and I'm gonna say it because I'm gonna say it, to control Black people. There, I said it. Even though most of us already know this already, but I said it. It was used as a means of control um, for Black people.
Well, think of it
So this
also,
is
how
why I
often was
don't
the
use that.
Bible removed? Elements of the Bible were removed to keep people enslaved.
Exactly. And I'm not saying the Bible is a beautiful book. There's so much useful
Some of it.
information in
I'm just gonna
there.
say it. Some of it's beautiful.
Listen, I call it, and I'm gonna be real, I call it, what is it, nonfiction? The best non-fictional book ever. Or is it fiction? Wait, I'm
I'll be
confused.
honest.
I'm like confused. It's late.
This
It's
and
11:30 in Puerto Rico right now.
this might upset some people, because I made a post about AC Bhaktivedanta, and apparently I understand it probably got people confused. I understand
Mhm.
that his creation of the Krishna consciousness movement pissed off a lot of people, but to me, my Bible
Mhm.
is this book,
What is that?
Bhagavad Gita, as it is, the Gita, which you can read the Gita without his purport. But of all the sacred texts in Hinduism, this is the one that's really required to be read. Because everything you need to know about enlightenment, everything you need to know about connecting to divinity, understanding the different
Mhm.
parts of the ego, it's all rooted in this. In the midst of a big battle, like even just the setup of how Krishna was telling Arjuna basically the purpose of life. To
Yes.
me, it's rooted in the story of a big battle that's about to happen. And to me, when people say the Bible, I'm not dissing the Bible. There's just things about the Bible that we can all question in a healthy way, because we know it's been altered and shifted so much in order to, as a means of controlling people in society, not just people of color, but people all over, the masses.
Because
So
everybody's going to hell if they don't comply.
yeah, but we all know hell is a consciousness, is not so much as a place that people think. But that's
Either way, we don't believe in hell and ATRs, and we also don't believe in hell and Taino spirituality. Okay.
right. Which one of the things that I appreciate this book a lot. And so when
Mhm.
people say, "Have you read the Bible?" I say, "Well, my Bible is the Gita. That's my Bible." Because
The amount of hate you must
it
get.
helped me figure out. Because when and I had this conversation with a brother the other day that he actually joined us live
Mhm.
just moments ago. But one of the things that we were talking about is the fact that it's okay to go outside of our traditions to find answers to how to deal with certain things. And I feel that where Odus that the Orishas give us from initiation can tell us, hey, these are things that could be problems. And yes, sometimes depending on maybe the diviner, they could probably give suggestions based off of their knowledge of Odu. But then there's often times where we could be told, you overthink, you're selfish, or you have this tendency, but they don't want to say why, or even maybe give a suggestion, say, this is maybe what you could do to fix that. We're left to our own device to try to figure it out. So, okay, so let's use that example.
That's happened to me.
Someone that overthinks. Okay, I know I overthink, but how am I going to fix that? How am I going to, address that? Because my overthinking is so out of control, it's interfering in my life. But what if they come from a family that has no exposure to meditation, no exposure to talk therapy, or there's no exposure? They're left to have to figure it out. And some of the spiritual healing therapies we have it can help curb it. It can help ease it, but it doesn't get to the root that the person has to cultivate a practice of some sort to help stabilize their overthinking. Well, this is where meditation may be a practice for them. But meditation is not something that's promoted often or before in our communities. It wasn't. Now it's getting a little bit more and more because people are exchanging, but not many people were. When people started really doing meditating was in the 40s and 50s and 60s, when you had all these gurus coming in from the East, coming into the Americas and exposing people. Especially then it got bigger in the 60s and the 70s and everything. But still, me growing up, I don't remember ever seeing anyone in my family meditate. I saw a lot of prayer at the Bóveda. I saw that.
Yeah, that's my experience.
Which that's why, I noticed earlier you called Espiritismo religion. I don't call it Espiritismo religion. I call it a practice more so than a religion. Because, yes, there's a structure. However, it's, I just don't,
it's
I don't
open.
know. It doesn't have that
it's
sort of,
open.
It's very open. And it also could be paired with other religions. So, for example, if someone that practices Palo Mayombe, you could still have a boa and still be a Espiritismo. You practice Taino spirituality, you could still practice Espiritismo. I feel it's a complementary practice that can go with anything. Just like Reiki. Reiki isn't a religion. Reiki is a practice that can complement other bona fide religions.
Yes.
And that just went off. Okay, it's 10:30 here. It's 11:30 at you. And so we want to just say hello to everybody. Thank you again. Thank you for dropping them likes like dollar bills on a stripper, because we hit over the 10,000. I don't mind asking. It gets people engaged, Come on.
Well, that's the whole point of this. That is the whole entire point. This is the first time we're doing it. Of course, we'll be dropping the podcast, which will be a little bit more organized in how we talk about everything. Just to let everybody know, our first season, we're going to get into the foundations of our spiritual practices, our diasporic spiritual practices, which would entail Espiritismo, Lukumi, Ifa and Lukumi go together, but that
and Taino spirituality, don't forget that.
Taino spirituality, we're going to get it a little bit into that and teach the differences and why 21 divisions and Taino spirituality don't go together. I just have to throw that in there. Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Okay, I see that. I saw that.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about here. But
I commented to you about it earlier. I asked you about it. I said, that don't make sense, but oh well, whatever.
Where everyone has said that doesn't make sense, I actually put everything on Facebook. I put it on Instagram, just so I can hear what other people have to say. Because I know I'm not bugging, but I mean, whatever. Who am I? I don't know shit, right? So, yeah. I just needed to hear what everyone else had to say, and nobody can make sense of any of it. So
Too
whatever.
much, man.
But we're
Too
gonna get
much.
into the foundations of it, and we're gonna talk about it. And then second season, we're actually going to be inviting some special guests, some people that are really influential. Some caciques will be coming in, and yeah, we just have a lot planned for this podcast. But I like this whole little live thing that we're doing. I don't know. Maybe we might come back and we'll talk a little bit more, get into some more details.
Or the in
And
between while we're recording, we talk. We'll have a tarot night,
yeah,
like
I kind of
specifically.
I kind of like this. I don't do live, but this is kind of cool. I like this. I like the vibe. I like the people. Yeah, this is nice. This is nice. Y'all keeping me up. It's 11:30 in Puerto Rico right now. So
Yes.
like this is all worth it. I love this. This is great.
And look, and for once, I don't hear any of those cars in the background.
Oh, please, thank God. Thank God, because I uploaded a video earlier about the cars and the chickens and the dogs and everything. So
The roosters.
this time is actually a pretty good time to record, but not on a Friday night or a Saturday night, and maybe even Sunday night, because the car radios are out and you can't hear shit. But what's island life if you don't have any of those things? So I definitely do appreciate it. So I wouldn't give my rematriation. I would not give it up for the world. Like it's the best decision I've ever made.
Good, mama. Good.
I'm just being real. So
Well, all right. Oh, wait. Hold on. My brother just is like, he's throwing out a song. Siete días.
Siete días con siete
noches por el mundo caminando y no
Wait, where's my
encuentro la limosna para mi viejo Babaluaye. Tanto yo camino. There we go. Tanto
girl?
yo trabajo.
I'm not gonna sing because I can't sing.
Para mi viejo Babaluaye.
I love that.
Oh, you want to put? No, he wants to come on. Hold on. Are you gonna sing with us?
Oh,
let's sing. Let's vamos.
He's just gonna keep us alive, isn't he?
Ay, San Lázaro bendito, santo de mi devoción. Si tú me das que yo te pido, yo entrega un coronación.
7 días con 7 noches.
Ah.
Para mi viejo Babaluaye.
Tanto como yo camino, tanto como yo trabajo, y no encuentro la limosna para mi viejo Babaluaye.
You gotta introduce him now. Introduce who he is. Introduce Jason to everybody.
Everyone, this is Jason. Jason is my brother. I love him dearly. And he's on here as Coronda89. If you haven't followed him, please follow him. He is who I need to thank also in part for helping me get to 1,000, because he's like, no, we gotta get you to 1,000 so you can get up on this live.
I appreciate it, but I wanted to come on because I know it's like your first time, you and your homegirl, so give you a little song.
No, but you're supposed to help me with Santa Clara, Claradora.
Santa
Claradora, Clara, que viene de lo infinito, buscando la caridad.
Y si tu puerta llega a ser
pidiendo la caridad, no te niegues, hermano, que Dios te pagará. La novena espiritual. Que novena tan sagrada. Hay que saber llevar. Santa Clara, Clararona. Don't get me started.
Everybody went black.
What do you mean everyone went black?
The screen went black.
What happened to Lee? Lee went black. Oh man, come on. What's going on? Where are you, Mama? There we
I'm
go.
here. I'm here. I'm here. Wait, don't invite me yet because my phone is like dead.
Y'all can see me.
But can you see me?
Oh my goodness, what's going on? Well,
I
I guess
he-
that's time for us to get off, right?
I'm here. I'm here.
You're here? At
My
least I got the
phone
Zoom.
Girl, look, my phone turned off.
Oh, her phone turned off. All right, guys. So that's our cue. That's our cue that for the night. So many blessings to everybody. Be on the lookout, please, for our podcast. I think I got Lee here on Zoom yet because she didn't charge her phone. So so you see everybody, we're right here.
Oh my God.
So
my phone died, y'all.
Hey, we never posted the teaser on TikTok. We never did. We did it only on IG, right?
No, I think I have it on TikTok as well. Okay. I have it on there. So
I'm gonna repost it on TikTok.
I'll repost it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys know that Spring Equinox first podcast episode drop. We hope to drop a trailer hopefully, so that way everyone could just be able to see if they have access to it on all the podcast outlets. So be on the lookout for that. She and myself will let everybody know here on TikTok and Instagram. So please, our handles, our usernames are the same. Follow us on Instagram too. Because sometimes we do things on the gram that we won't do on TikTok and vice versa.
Yes.
Because it's completely different community. I don't want to say communities, but some people on TikTok may not be on Instagram and then vice versa. So it just helps. And then Lee, what's your
and my platforms, my Instagram is the same as my TikTok. The only thing is that my platforms are completely different on TikTok versus on Instagram, because my platform on Instagram is strictly more spiritual in general.
It's similar here, and I'm still kind of figuring that out about with TikTok and IG because I've been on IG longer. But one thing is definitely for certain, everyone check out our websites. Lee has websites where you can go ahead and you can pick up things from her shop. On my website, you can always get the Speedy Feasible webinars. I'm revamping the 7 African Powers one right now. I also got a webinar on the Bovada, on at least how the reason why the Bovada is set up the way it's set up, what are the elements, breaking that down, as well as how to work the altar glasses. So that's also there. And I recently just started doing life insurance, so there's always financial education there, and especially religious and financial planning. So Lee and I, we just don't do 100% spirituality all the time. And that's another conversation we want to have.
I am currently, I don't know if everybody can hear me, but I am currently doing a fundraiser. I am doing a fundraiser so that we can raise money in my Yucayeke so that we can actually fix our ceremonial ground. So hopefully tomorrow, maybe I'll go live again and I will take you guys. I know a lot of people know that I do these videos and I take people around the island and give them a little bit of history. I may actually just go live tomorrow and take everybody so they can see our ceremonial grounds here in Vieques, so that they can see what it looks like, and then I can show them what it's going to look like once we are able to raise the funds in order to get a digger in there and take it all down. So that's a whole other conversation, but yes, I wanted my Taino community to know what we're doing actively here on the island.
That's awesome. So yeah, we're doing more. It's not just 100% spirituality all the time. We're in our communities. We're trying to help as in different avenues as much as we can. And on that note, Good night, everybody. Take care.
Bye.